What's good, squad? It's the big homie SB23 back at you with some more words of wisdom. Today we're going to talk about be careful what you wish for. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. SB23 on YouTube, Chosen123 on YouTube. Those are both my channels. You'll get these gems on both channels. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for stopping by, hanging out with me, soaking up the knowledge, spreading it to whoever might need it. I'm hoping that you're having a good day, and I'm sending love out your way. So, be careful what you wish for. Oftentimes in life, like I like to say, we can find ourselves in a great position, you know? Everything is moving smoothly. Everything is going according to plan. But we nitpick the situation, and we don't have to. That's how you trick yourself out of your own position. You don't want to trick yourself out of your own position. If you got everything and it's set up going real smoothly and it's going your way, don't nitpick the situation and try to find the little things that aren't moving in the way that you want them to move. You know what I'm saying? I personally know this within my own life. I made a video just recently about stop overthinking stuff. And that's basically, this is kind of the same thing. You're segueing into the same type of energy. You don't want to overthink anything, but sometimes you can underthink something too. Like sometimes you can not put enough thought into something and trick yourself out the position. So you might have a lot of things going well for yourself, but you underthink it, meaning that you're not thinking enough about all the good things that are going well. And because you're not taking the time to stop and look at everything that's actually going well within your life, you start to try to pinpoint things or try to figure out ways into making the situation better, even though you're already in a good spot. You know what I'm saying? That's how you can trick yourself out of your position sometimes, because things could be going smoothly, and if you give it time, you'll get whatever those few things that you're picking out, you'll get it on the later end if you give it some time. That's why you need to have patience within life, because there's nothing wrong with wishing for something or wanting something, but if you try to rush the process, then you're going to wish yourself out of the scenario that you're already going to get if you just take some time and wait and be patient. You know what I'm saying? And that's within our society. We're groomed and suited and used to having things happen almost immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like if we want information, all we got to do is pick up our phones and type in whatever it is that we're trying to look up, and we can find that information instantly. If we want food, we can either hop in our car and go get something that's within 5 minutes away from us, or we can go on our phones again and pull up an app and have somebody bring the food to you. So it's almost instantaneous as to how we get things in our life. And since we're so accustomed to that, we can fall victim to that, because sometimes to get the good things in life, you have to have patience. You can't rush the process, you know what I'm saying? So, but because we're so used to that instant gratification, that's how you can trick yourself out of your own position, because you'll have a wish and you'll want that wish to be fulfilled, but because you're so used to the instant gratification or not being able to hold some patience, that you'll rush the process and you'll skip the steps that's already really put there for you. But because you're impatient and you can't wait, you skip those steps and you bring in the wish that you have quicker than what you plan it to be. And then what ends up happening is it actually doesn't pan out to be what it is that you really were wishing for. Like it seems like it on the front end, but then once you get into it, you realize like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And now you have to sit within that, because now you messed up your own blessing. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much where I'm coming from within that. Don't trick yourself out of your own position by wishing for something and not being patient enough to wait for your wish to come in the right time. You know what I'm saying? That's another video I made, trust in divine timing. You know what I'm saying? When you wish for something, it's going to come, especially if you're moving within the right energy. It's going to come. You just have to be patient and wait for it to come at the right time, because you might not be ready for whatever it is that you're asking for in that moment. But once you give it time to grow and give yourself time to grow, then it'll naturally fall in place within your life, and you'll understand why it came at the time it came, as opposed to when you were maybe wanting it to come. You know what I'm saying? It needed time to come at the right time so you can actually handle it and sustain it the way that it needed to be handled, and actually appreciate it too. And that's the thing, you know, that's why you got to appreciate the stuff that you have when you have it, so then you'll get the things that you want in the future when it's time for those things to come, instead of trying to rush them. And then now you trick yourself out of your position, because yeah, maybe you might force the issue and then kind of get what you want to get up front, but it's not sustainable. You know what I'm saying? It's not actually what was for you or what was planned for you. But now that you rushed the process, now you got to sit within that that new situation you created, and that situation didn't benefit you in the same way that the other situation did. You know what I mean? So, and again, this is something I experienced within my own life. So early on, I had to grasp the understanding of patience. You know, not everything comes when you want it to come, but if you wait and you take the time and wait and you do the right things within your life, and you're moving within the right energy, it's going to come. You know what I'm saying? It's going to come. And when it does come, it's going to be sustainable. It's not going to be something that is only there for a quick second and then it turns sour. Like it seems good up front, but then on the later end, it's sour. You know what I mean? So that's just the message for today. Be careful what you wish for. Nothing wrong with wishing for things, but understand that if you're pressing the issue and you're trying to force it to happen, then that's when things crumble. You know what I'm saying? Again, it might seem good up front, but then on the later end, it's going to fall apart because you didn't give yourself enough time to build that foundation. You know what I'm saying? Or you already had a solid foundation, and because you made this move to switch the issue or move towards what it was that you wanted quicker than you were actually ready to have it, or it was going to present itself, you actually moved yourself from a stable position and into an unstable position. And now everything in your life starts to go awry, to where if you would have just stayed where you were and appreciated where you were for what it was at the time, appreciated everything that you had within your life at that time, then naturally the building blocks that were going to go on top of that foundation would fall into place, and then eventually you would have reached the peak of whatever it was that you were wishing for. You know what I mean? Instead of rushing the process and then it all falling apart right from under you, because again, you moved yourself off of this stable situation that you actually already had onto another situation, only for it to not really fit the way that you had wished for it to fit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it comes down to. It's again, these things, all these concepts are really simple when you break it down. It's just having somebody to give you the type of information that you can soak up and then implement in your own life. You know what I mean? So it's like fast money don't last. You know what I'm saying? That quick money don't last. It's the same thing. That's all kind of the same, under the same premise. You know, when you try to rush something, anything that comes quick is going to leave quick. But something that takes some time to come, and it takes some of you building and building and building little by little, once it finally does hit, it's going to stay for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Because you took the time to build it properly instead of rushing it. You know what I'm saying? Think about the 3 little pigs. You know what I mean? And that story, you know, the first pig had a straw house or something like that. The next pig had a stick house, but that last pig had the brick house. And that's where you want to be. You don't want to be in these rushed houses and then having something come through and destroy what you built with ease. You want to take your time, and yeah, it's going to take more time and effort to build that brick house on that solid foundation. But once it's built, it's going to last the test of time. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to trying to do it quick, you know what I mean? Trying to make it happen quick just so you can be where you want to be, or think that you're going to be where you want to be and then all for it to just fall apart with not even that much effort. You know what I'm saying? But that's why, because you didn't put that much effort into actually getting or building your house or your foundation or whatever, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to build. You know what I mean? And that's just an analogy, but I think that's a good one to use because it makes total sense. You know what I'm saying? Again, if you build your house or your foundation with some solid material and solid objects, which again is going to take more time to do, yes, but once it's built, it's going to last, as opposed to trying to quickly move into something and having it fall apart over the slightest situation because it really didn't have a strong foundation. Yeah, it seemed like it was a good thing. Yes, you had it quicker, but it's not going to last. It's not going to last the test of time. You know, something minor could come along and completely destroy and break that down, to whereas, you know, it's going to take something really major to shake that brick house with that solid foundation. And even then, you know, those things, again, look at brick buildings that were built so long ago. They're still standing now, but these houses that they make now that are made from, you know, cheap wood and stuff like that, those things get destroyed so easily. So it makes sense, you know, when you really break it down and think about it. So when you're building your life, or you're building your business, or you're building whatever it is that you want to build, take the time to do it. Don't rush the process. And when you do start on a solid foundation, don't trick yourself out of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it might be taking longer than you want it to take. Don't trick yourself out of it. Just be patient and keep building brick by brick by brick by brick. And then eventually you're going to have this solid housing situation, or a solid foundation, or whatever it is that you got that's going to last you, as opposed to rushing the wish. You know what I mean? Because then you find yourself mad at yourself because now you're thinking about, man, I remember when I had this situation, and you know, I had that solid foundation, I had that backing, you know, I had that strong support, and I left that to build this quick thing, and that quick thing just crumbled over the slightest little issue or slightest little disturbance, or whatever the case it may be. You know what I mean? As opposed to if I would have just stayed where I was at and kept building and building, then I would have had this strong structure that was going to last me for the rest of my life, basically. You know what I'm saying? Instead of only lasting me for a few months or a year or a couple years, and then, you know, it's done, it's broken. You know what I mean? So be careful what you wish for. Don't wish yourself out of your position. Again, what is that saying? Don't trick yourself out of position. Don't look at what's wrong, because you could have a solid foundation, but you're looking at, oh, there's a little crack here, or there's a little whatever here, and instead of just taking the time to get some mortar, or, you know, and patch that up, or, you know, whatever the case may be, or it might be that it's not building fast enough for your liking. Don't trick yourself out of your position to run over to another scenario that's not going to last you, when you could have just kept building with this scenario, and you would have been in a much better spot at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? The tortoise and the hare, you know, slow and steady runs the race. You know, that's the same. It's the same concept at the end of the day. The hare was thinking he was going to win because the tortoise was slow, but the whole time the tortoise was taking his time, going at his pace. And at the end of the story, he ends up winning the race because the hare was so busy thinking that he had everything in the bag that he was doing stuff he shouldn't even have been doing. You know what I'm saying? He was over there sleeping and taking naps and stuff while the tortoise was stuck on his goal, moving forward at his pace. And again, eventually he won the race, even though the odds were really against him. But what did he have on his side is that he knew himself. He didn't try to go faster than he could go, and he also didn't give up. He just kept going. And since there was no overconfidence or underconfidence there, he was able to sustain that pace and then eventually won, to where the rabbit or the hare was so confident that he felt like he could slack off and still win the race no matter what. But it doesn't go that way. You know what I'm saying? When you're overconfident or you're over wishful, you can find yourself in situations that you don't want to find yourself in. And within that, you don't got nobody to blame but yourself, because you already have everything that you needed, but you didn't take it seriously, or you didn't appreciate it for what it was. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a message for today. Don't be careful what you wish for. You know what I'm saying? Because you can wish yourself out of a good position and end up losing in the end, because you feel like you can be in a better spot than what you were before. You know, appreciate where you're at and build on that. You know what I'm saying? And then the right things will come to you, instead of chasing after things that are not going to suit you in the long run. You know what I mean? And that's, again, to go back to all of my videos and what I talk about, the law of attraction and energy and all this other stuff. You don't want to chase. You want to attract. So you just need to hold yourself in a good vibration, and the right things will attract to you. You don't have to chase it. It's going to come to you. You just need patience. That's all. So that's the message for today, y'all. I'm hoping that y'all having a good one, and I'ma holla.